This has been my best month of my entire life, and I'm not kidding. I've been trading for 2.5 years. This month I secured a positive 13R. I hit an 8-day win streak. I've never had that. Continued a 7-week win streak, and I got a payout, and I passed two prop accounts. Best month by far. I started the month with a prop account looking like this. Then this was how I ended the account, or ended the month on the same account, building a $4,500 buffer and securing a payout on top of the buffer. Completely just an amazing month. And the biggest shift was patience. And I'll get into that. I'll show you one of the strategies I used to build discipline, as well as some of the journals, some of the findings that I made. In the beginning, I had a plan, and that's the most important part. You have to have a plan. Trading without a plan is just gambling. You're better off wasting your money. And having a plan is only helpful if you can follow it. Trading is all about delayed gratification. This is not rocket science, and one of the hardest parts is that it is delayed. We are wired for short term gratification, and that is the purpose of the calendar you see in front of you. This is a rewards calendar to have short term gratification. If I follow my rules every single day for a week, I get a reward. We know in trading that the results are delayed, and I knew opening some of these new challenge accounts, if I were to get reward, if my edge was successful, I wouldn't reap anything for at least a month. And that was true in my case, and what I did reap was pretty small, anyways. So, in order to follow my rules and stay disciplined, I set up this calendar, and it's something I've done in the past, and I can't recommend enough. It's helped me a ton. Something that I wanted for my fish tank was more shrimp, little colorful algae eating shrimp. And so I said, all right, if I follow my rules for a week, every single day, perfection, defined on the side, I have to meet these requirements. If I do this for a week, then I get this reward. What that does is when you enter the markets, you are no longer seeking to make money. You are seeking to follow your rules because you get a reward. It's a way to rewire your brain and change what's required of you in order to get rewarded. In this case, it was, if I follow my rules, I get rewarded soon. It's tangible. I can feel it. It's something I want. I know it's coming soon. I just have to follow my rules. And that's the point of doing this. So I did follow my rules, and ironically, it was one of my best weeks ever, my best month ever. Some of these red days I broke my rules, and that week goes in as red. Now I'm doing it again, and I want some boots and maybe goggles for another thing on the side, and so I'm doing it again. Something to look forward to when I go into the markets. I have a different goal, a different mindset, a different approach, because this is what I want. I don't want to win. I want to follow my rules because that's where the reward lies. And slowly over time, I can already feel myself changing, knowing that if I follow these rules and rewards, results kind of just play out in my favor. This is my P&L calendar since the beginning of October, the end of September. Risking $500 a trade up. Is that 20R? Wow, yeah. That's kind of crazy. I didn't even think about it. That's 20R in 2 months. I've never experienced that ever. And I've been doing this for a long, long time. Wow, that's insane. And you can see in this curve here, I mean, this couldn't be a better way to demonstrate the importance of following your rules. Not following your rules, the importance of journaling. I started journaling here, and we can tell for like this first month, 29th, 28th, 29th here, not a lot of progress. Like, there is progress, and it did give me confidence and an edge to do this, but this was data collection. I was trading a lot of different assets. I essentially 2 months ago I threw everything out the window and I started over. And I said I'm gonna journal so hard that I remove the possibility to fail. That was the idea. That was the theory in mind. Was let me just outwork the idea of failure. And what you cannot measure, you cannot master. So I measured everything in an effort to master everything. And I'm far from mastery, but I'm far from the failure I was experiencing prior to this. And I've journaled a lot, like a lot. This is just the past 2 months. Journaling every trade and the four most important sections. I'll zoom in here because I've gotten a couple questions on how I journal. I do all the basic data collection. I get the date, I get the direction of the high time frame bias, I get the trade, the asset, and the direction of that. Is it mechanically valid? And is it a win or loss? This is a calculation that goes into this box up here. This is my win rate right there. And that is the formula. If you want to copy that formula, it will basically calculate your win rate based on how many cells data is entered into. The best way to journal. I haven't seen anybody journal like this. I think it's the best by far. If you lost your trade, what did you learn? Straightforward. What was your mechanical mistake? So, for example, let's find a good one in here. Late entry. Simple mechanical mistake. I entered the trade late because I was distracted. That's a mechanical mistake, and in this case, it cost me the trade. So that goes in as an entry. Trading after 2 losses. This became a rule for me. I no longer trade if I take 2 losses. Let's see. Moving my take profit. You can. There's a pattern here. If there's a loss, there tends to be more writing than if there's a win. So in this case, lost the trade because I moved my take profit. And then the next section is why did you make the mistake emotionally? What emotions are you letting control yourself? Greed. Greed controlled me in this case because I moved my take profit trying to make more money and I lost because of that. Some of my other ones were carelessness or fear, FOMO, eagerness. That's a big one. And then the final section, be your mentor. We all know what we're doing wrong. It's intelligence, knowledge is no longer the limiting factor in trading for anyone. It shouldn't be. It should take maybe a month to really learn an edge. And then once you get to that point, you should really know everything. And if you don't know something, you know that you don't know something. Like it's not a mystery. There's not a knowledge gap that's causing you to lose. You know the mistakes you're making. You know when you make them. And so you need to essentially speak to yourself here. Maybe it's giving yourself homework. Maybe it's thinking about something in a different way. Maybe it's simply just recognizing I took a trade out of greed and it lost me the trade. Think of that. Like really sit with that and let that hit you hard. Let that affect you. Let it make you upset. Let yourself feel the pain. That's how you grow. If you just brush it off and say, who cares? You're gonna make the same mistake. But if you sit there and really get bothered and upset at yourself for making these mistakes, you're not gonna want to make them anymore. And you need to track them and identify them to do that. Like you have to track these things. You have to. It's a fast track. I've experienced more growth in the past 2 months journaling like this. This is a lot. This is a lot. It takes me some time. I don't always enjoy it. This is a lot of writing. I've experienced more growth in 2 months than I have in 2 years doing this. More success in 2 months. A fraction of the amount of time because I decided to journal like this. And it's helped me dramatically. Dramatically. Because then what you can do is you can take this and you can put it into something like AI. Like I was just doing that today. I actually mentioned to someone online, I mentioned to Twitter, my AI's developed like a serious attitude towards me. But let me just give you like a preview of what you can do when you have a massive data collection of mechanical rules that are causing you to fail, emotional mistakes that are causing you to fail. You can give it to AI and say, do a deep dive. Like what is going on here? So let me scroll up. So this is literally just copy and pasted all of my journaling in here. That's a lot of journaling. Oh my gosh. and I was asking for win rates and analysis, and my win rate over time are the things that are changing. And then you can go in here, ask questions, and really dig in. I asked for quantitative because I wanted to know how's my win rate adjusting over time. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, here's what it is. So I essentially took all my trades of the past 2 months and I divided it into four blocks, four equal blocks, each block having its own representative win rate. And that's what this is right here. So block one, that first section was 35%. The second was 35%. The third was 50%, and the sixth was, or the fourth was 61%. So clearly an uptrend. And my whole goal here was to identify, okay, why am I experiencing an uptrend? Like why am I growing? Why am I doing better? Let me figure this out. And that's exactly what this is. I mean, it gets so in depth. The things you can do when you journal, especially with the new tech we have now, is just insane. And that's exactly what this is. So looking at some of my own mistakes, my language shifted. Self-hate to professional detachment. I guess in a lot of my older journals I wrote things like I hate this and I'm just listening all the time, and now things like heavily process oriented, not bad at all. Stacking the wins, win or lose is a good trade. That is one of the best and most freeing mindsets you can have. If you can look at a trade, enter it, and then like sit back and say like, this could win or lose. I don't care. I did what I should have, and the outcome's the outcome. I won't be upset to lose. One of the best things one of my mentors, Kiko, told me. Kiko on Twitter, great guy. One of the best things he ever told me, and it's the top thing on my trading view chart is never take a trade you would be upset to lose. If you're looking at an opportunity and you play it out in your head, if you lose, are you going to be upset? If so, don't take it. Don't take it. You should only be taking trades that you are okay to lose. Other things, these are all really just rules that I needed to follow. No random 1 to 10 hero shots, not forcing trades after big wins or losses, better asset filtering, stop chasing the money mid trade, so not moving my targets. And that's this is so frustrating and also great to see because so many of these, like, you kind of have a hunch. Like, again, what I was saying earlier, you know what you're doing wrong, you know what's causing you to lose because you keep losing when you do it. Having this third party say, yeah, this is your problem, is an intense confirmation that, for me personally, helps me to follow my rules better. Um, this is great. This is great. I spent a lot of time looking at this and reading all this, and I want to be sure and I want to know, like, is this just random? Do I actually have an edge here? 15% market conditions, 85% behavioral changes. So these are some of the changes that have gone in the past month, in the past 20 trades that have resulted in such a high increased win rate. Another thing I want to touch on that I think is important, because clearly great successes. Broke the win streak today, by the way. Negative $1,100 on the funded account. Had to happen eventually. That's okay. We repeat the process tomorrow. This is great. This is a whole lot of green. And I'm trading typically 1 to 3 times a day. My trade win is only 53% on this account. My trade win rate in the past 2 months is only 48%. A lot of the times you'll see some of these gurus online who I've had the privilege to get a little closer to some of them, and they'll say, oh, I have an 80% win rate, or I have a 90% win rate. 50% of their trades might be going break even. 40% might be wins, and then 10% might be losses. And then they'll take the 50, discard it, and then they'll say, oh, 40 over 50, I win 80% of the time. Quick disclaimer on the ad, people out there. Don't trust all the win rates you see. My win rate is not that hot, and my risk to reward is only 1.7 on average. I take anything between 0.5 and 2R. That's something I journaled, studied, practiced, and identified that I can trade trades between this range, and I like it, and it's worked for me up until this point. But my daily win rate is a 71%. You do not need some 70, 80, 90% win rate to make a killing. I mean, I'm I'm losing over half of my trades, and my P&L curve looks like this. You don't need a crazy P&L curve. Just wanted to throw that out there because for a very long time I wanted a really hot P&L curve, and it was like, oh, I need to win more. I need to win more. And I was like, I need like a 60% win rate before I even touch an account. And that's just not the case. That's just not true. You don't need that. You can go for a lower RR, you can go for a lower win rate, and you can still do very well. Great month. Expectations for the next month. Hoping to get another payout. We'll see how this plays out. If things continue as they have, I mean, I could be looking at another payout within the next 2 weeks, and it'll be $1,000 plus, and that would be my biggest payout of the year by far, by over double, and that would be thrilling. But then again, I'm trying my best to be detached from the money because I have it on my wall. I've experienced it many times myself. When the money becomes the focus, the money is removed from any future picture. You can't focus on the money. It has to be process over profits. And man, it's hard to practice what you preach. But working hard to do so, journaling as I go. Amazing month, the best I've ever had, and I'm excited to keep swimming. Thank you for watching.